Today we're going to demonstrate how to create a custom manual template for this Bud Box large box. And the first thing we need to do is create some measurements. Just grab a piece of paper. Let's start with an easy side. Start with this bottom side. We're going to take some measurements. This is a millimeter ruler, so that's 230. So let's just create, this is bottom. This is 230 along the top. Let's say it's 225 around the bottom. This side is 5. Actually, I'm going to say 110. And then we're just going to do that for every single side. And then we've got to do this one with the hinges, so we know that this is going to be the same. 330, 105, 325, 105. But then we've got these little hinges, so the hinges themselves are about 45. So 45, and they drop down about, let's just say 30. And from the edge, it looks like they're about 15. Yep. And then in the middle, just for the sake of completeness, let's say 210. And then those are our measurements. So next we're just going to take that over to our computer, and we're going to enter this into the Jdeation Designer. Okay, now that we have our measurements, we need to get the design template. So we're going to come over here to My Jdeation and go to My Base Designs. And we just need the template, so we're going to create a new design, but we're not going to fill any of this out yet because we're going to have to come back to that later. But down here in the manual section, because we're going to be doing a manual design, there's a big link that says download the instruction manual. So we're going to click that. And then we are going to go into Inkscape because that is the only program that we have tested with the Jdeation Designer. Others may work, but if you do try to use another program, make sure you check your scale. So we're going to go into Inkscape, and we're going to open up this instruction manual. Okay, so I have the instruction template open in Inkscape now. Inkscape is a free program. You can download it. Just go to Google and type in Inkscape. It's a decent program. It is the one that we use with the Jdeation Designer, so if you're not going to use Inkscape, kind of use at your own risk at this point, but you might be able to make it work. Anyways, you want to make sure you read through the instructions here. There's some really key ones, like the only 2 colors allowed are red and black, and very specific on the hex values, and objects need to be converted to path and things like that. Really important, but I'm going to walk you through all that stuff in here in a second. Other interesting things here, just some easy common connectors to make your component work faster. These are hole sizes that we use. And then I got an example component, an example design. But really, so the first thing that we need to do to get started is we're going to actually make our design in this SVG itself, because this SVG is already scaled to get imported back in. So really, the first thing we want to do is just kind of take all this and just kind of move it out of the way. Okay, so I've moved everything off to the side here, and so then I am going to go ahead and create my first side. So the way I like to do it is just create a quick box first, and then you can actually size that box to the general dimensions you're looking for. So we said it was 230 by 105. So that's the general dimensions, but if you remember, our top and our bottom were not exactly the same size. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this tool here, and then we need to, and then I'm just going to start and draw this, and if you remember, like I'm just going to draw it down to here. So now I've created the general dimensions, and so let's make that the same size. And then I can come over here to the path tool on this, and I can space this out so it's the right size. And then I'm going to delete, oops, deleted the wrong one. And so then this should be the general size, but I need to take let's just take some measurements. So that says it's 217, so that's not quite big enough. Also, you can do some stuff with Inkscape like this. Okay, so this is the side. So we're going to have two of these. Because we've got two sides. So we're just going to position them on the screen like this. And then we've got the super wide. So next, I'm going to create the long side. So I'm just going to create a copy of this. And you'll notice again, I'm doing all this in black on the outside. And so this one was 330. So that's that. Again, let's measure the bottom was supposed to be 325. I think it will be fine. But let's just, oh, stop that. $323.4, that's close enough. So this is going to be one of my sides. Then I'm going to create another one of these. And this one is going to be with the hinges. So now I need to create the hinges. And so what I'm going to do here is just create the little hinges with a red. Actually, I guess, you know what, I'm going to create the path. So create some new paths along here. And we're just, again, going to get them in the general direction for now. These are our little hinge spots. So again, this is using the path tool. It's very powerful. So that looks generally like what I'm looking for. And so then I'm going to go in here and take some measurements. The total length of this was about 45. So that's not big enough yet. Why don't I just do this? I'm going to create one that's 45, and then, oh, shoot. I'm going to convert that to an item for a second. So it'll stay on the screen. So then I'm going to move this one to about the right length. And move this one to, again, the other way you could do this, right? Is you could just use a square box and make that square box exactly the right size. In fact, let's just do that for the sake of, we know that these things are supposed to be 45 by 30. So we're just going to dump that there. And then get rid of this real quick. That's much easier. And then I'm going to do that over here too. And then we know that it was 15 millimeters from the side over here. So I'm just, for the sake of, again, this is like my cheapo measuring tape here. Crap, I probably should have done this before. So this is going to be a real-time mistake. So let's move this. We need to get this sucker lined up to 15 first. All right. I think that's generally it. And so now we have the 4 outlines. And then we're going to just add some markings to tell people what these things are. So that we do that with the text tool. Before we do that, let's just go ahead and get these aligned where we want them. All right, so now we're going to add some text just so people know what these things are. Remember, all other markings other than the black outside and any holes need to be done in red. So also, let's just check and make sure this is full black. So we select this, and over here on the stroke color, you can see the RGB, that is full black. If you remember the instructions, right here, black line 0000FF, and that's what we have right there. So that's good. Remember, it has to be either only black or red are the only 2 colors allowed. So now, let's insert some text. Oops. And we're just going to call this side. That's way too big. So let's shrink that way down. Let's make it 10. Maybe that's too small. And then we want the fill color to be, again, red, solid red. So we've got a side. But next, before you do anything, you've got to convert this to a path. So select it. If you don't do this, it will not work in Jdeation Designer. Once you convert it to a path, you won't be able to change the text itself. So you may want to do this at the very end. I'm just going to do it for now just as an example. I typically do all of them at the very end. So we're just going to go path, object to path. And what that does is it's converting it from a text object into a path object in SVG. And everything needs to be a path in SVG. So this thing is good. So we're going to do there. We'll create another copy of that. It really wants to snap. So we'll do that. Then we're going to say, in fact, we should have called these things different. We should call this let's make it 24. And I think that's about it. Oh yeah, we also want to add a line to indicate from the bottom where the bottom plate is going to be so people know not to. Oh man, I wish it would quit doing that. Okay, I'm actually pretty happy with that. I think that's going to work. The one last thing that I like to do on mine, and this is to ensure that when people move it to their Cricut, actually before we do anything, let's make the document properties, and we need to make the canvas actually fit. So let's say it's 335, and this will be, let's just 450. We're just estimating here. Yeah, let's shrink it down a little bit more. And I think that's it. I think I'm happy with that. So we need to delete all this stuff over here. Again, remember to read the instructions. Delete all that. Much better. No, it's still freaking snapping. It's just not the indicator. All right, so that's pretty good. And what I'm going to do is mark what that outside line is. So that outside line is this. Actually, let's make it 335 and 432. And then I'm going to indicate on here with another text box what the dimensions of this thing are. Oh, except I forgot what they were. Okay, so now I am going to upload my new design. I'm going to create a new base design. This is a front plate because this is a vinyl front plate design. The headline is Bud Box. I've already done this. And then I'm going to enter, this is a manual design because we did it in Inkscape. And so we're going to upload what we just created. We do not need any mounting hardware because again, this is a vinyl base design. And that's it. So it looks like it uploaded perfectly. And now the fun part is we can actually use it. Now we will come back and we will want to validate this later after we print it. So let's go ahead and so now that we've uploaded our design, we want to validate our design, and that just proves to the community that your design is valid. So we'll go over here to the validation window, and we want to download the validation PDF. And we want to open it. First we want to save it, and then we want to actually open it in Adobe. And it's important that you open it in Adobe so that you can actually print it to scale. So I'm going to show you, you come down here to print, and the key is you don't want to fit, you want to actually do you want to do actual size. Actual size is critical if you don't do actual size. And because this thing is bigger than will fit on a single piece of paper, you want to do poster mark. And that's going to print, you can see 4 sections. And then I like to do cut marks because that's helpful. So then I want to print it to my printer out here in my workshop. Okay, so I got these off the printer, and you can see it just makes a little grid. And then, so all I'm going to do now is I'm just going to tape them together. But I've got to cut off the edge right there to line up these marks. So I'm just going to do it here. Then I'll find the other side. Perfect. And then you just got to do the same thing up here and here. And then once you tape this together, then you're just going to use scissors and you're going to cut out around this box. So I already have one that I have cut out. Save a little time here. So this is it. And then you can see as it lines up. Actually looks perfect. But if it didn't, then this is where you would just kind of go back to your design, make a few tweaks, and then repeat the process. And so we're going to just mark on here. And then I'm going to get my camera. I'm going to take a picture of this, and then I'm going to upload it as proof that I have validated that this is a good base design. And now we're going to come back to our base design, and we're just going to go ahead and upload that image, the picture we took. So find it here. This is it. And then we're going to go ahead and save that. And then behind the scenes, somebody from Jdeation will approve this, and then you will have a validated design that you can share with other people in the Jdeation community. So hopefully this video helped. If you have any questions, just enter them down in the comments, and appreciate it.